Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We have a wonderful session for you on the one-page business plan, which we think is going to be very beneficial to those who are joining us today and those who will be watching the replay when we send the link out for others to watch via our YouTube channel. We thought this would be a great opportunity, a great topic to discuss because every business needs a business plan that helps on a variety of fronts. It helps with planning, it helps with organization. It's something that you don't just start and push away to the side or you use because there's a funding opportunity, but it really is a tool that should be used for the cycle of your business, regardless of where you are in the business cycle. My name is Shauna Cooper, and I am the Executive Director of Benedict College Women's Business Center. We welcome you to this webinar. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to learn more about the topic that we have planned for you and learn various strategies for incorporating these tools and resources into your business practices. We have a great webinar. Our facilitator is Anissa Truesdale. She currently serves as the coordinator of accounting programs, accreditation, and grants for the Tyrone A. Burroughs School of Business and Entrepreneurship. Anissa is no stranger to Benedict College. During her first tenure, she served in the roles of accounting instructor and interim department chair of the finance, economics, and accounting department. Prior to returning to Benedict, she served as the director of financial reporting controller for Newberry College in Newberry, South Carolina. Reporting directly to the CFO, Ms. Truesdale led the accounting department and and was responsible for the college's annual audit, preparation of the college's financial statements, and worked closely with the president and his council in the preparation of the college's budget. So you can see how expansive her role was in this particular position and how important it was for the college and how knowledgeable she is in this field. Professor Truesdale also spent over 13 years in various accounting and financial roles with Springs Global US Incorporated, a textile company formerly headquartered in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and has served over 20 years of teaching experience at various institutions throughout the Southeast. Professor Truesdale holds a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from Clemson University, a Master of Science degree in accounting from Texas A&M University, and a CPA license in North Carolina. She's a member of the Lancaster, South Carolina alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Professor Truesdale currently resides in Columbia, South Carolina. Before I turn it over to Professor Truesdale, I would like for all of the entrepreneurs and business owners in this webinar to say your name. Where are you joining us from? And where are you in the business cycle? Is it pre-venture, startup, growth? Let us know who's in attendance. So without further ado, if you could enter that information into the chat, I'm going to hand it over to Professor Truesdale. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I appreciate you all entering that information into the chat. We're also gonna have a little poll question as well, related to that as well. So we'll take a look at that. So I will go ahead and get started this morning and share my presentation with you all. I was telling Ms. Cooper, I have several screens and they want to behave the way they want to behave, not the way I want them to behave sometimes.
That I believe. Okay. Chat. They chat.
And while Professor Truesdale is getting situated, we strongly encourage participation. Unlike in-person situations or opportunity, it's easier to gauge the audience's body language to see where we are and if additional information is needed to be suggested or implemented to make sure that everyone is learning the information. So if you can participate in the chat, if you can ask questions where appropriate, get the thumbs up or whatever the case may be, that would be very, very helpful to the facilitator. Thank you. Okay, we see several startups. We do have someone in the growth stage. Okay, quite a few in the growth. Perfect. Thank you.
I'm not the growth. Oh,
And also, since this is recorded, if you could mute your mics, that would be great.
Pardon me for the technical difficulties, but each time I change screens, it pulls up something different.
Okay, and as we're waiting for Professor Truesdale, if you're not already a client of Benedict College Women's Business Center, we invite you to do so. Benedict College Women's Business Center was started in September 2020 during the pandemic as a means to offer critical resources and support for persons who are starting their businesses in addition to wanting to grow their business. I think we are pretty much squared away now. I'm going to put a pin in my spiel and turn it back over to Professor Truesdale. Are you okay? Is everything okay now, Professor Truesdale?
Can
We
you
good to
tell me what you all are seeing currently?
We see slide 4, who's on the call. We don't see the title slide just yet. Yep, there now we see the title slide.
Okay, there we go. All right. Again, my apologies for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So today what we're going to talk about is the one-page business plan. And we'll talk through some things such as what's the purpose of it, who is it important to, and we'll go through the contents of what should be included. And then we'll also look at a few examples. All right. And just as Ms. Cooper stated that if I don't mind engaging, if you all have questions as we're going along, I invite those questions. So this first question, I'm actually going to use a poll here. So I'm going to launch a poll so that you all can actually respond to these questions. So can you all see the poll to respond to the poll?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so if you could just respond to this first one.
what is the question?
It's on the screen. It says, who's on the call? What is the stage of your business? Are you identifying the opportunity, acquiring critical resources, executing the plan, or D, harvesting the firm's value? Which means that you're looking at actually passing your business on to the next generation or looking at selling it.
Oh, I can't respond.
And I'll just give everyone a few minutes to respond.
Okay, that's all I gave. I can't see the page.
So I'll go ahead and end the poll now unless you all need a few more minutes. And it looks like a majority of you are actually executing the plan, at 56% of those who responded. And then it looks like the identifying the opportunity, acquiring critical resources were tied for second. So it doesn't look like anyone's in the process of actually trying to pass their business on to the next generation. All right. So let's just go to the next poll.
Oh, it
And
could be
this-
anybody, but
And this one is asking, and again, I'm just trying to get some information on who's actually on the call. So this one goes into how would you describe your business?
Excuse me, Professor Truesdale, we're going to kindly ask that people mute their phones because we're picking up on background conversations, which is going to make it difficult for others to listen and participate, in addition for persons to listen to the replay. So if you can take a moment to mute yourselves, that would be great. You can unmute yourselves when you have a question. Thank you.
All right, so for this next poll, again, we're looking for how would you describe your business? Would you consider it a micro business, which is a small firm, you're just looking for minimal profits to the owner? Are you looking at a lifestyle business, which you're looking to actually expand the micro business a little bit, just so you can achieve the desired pattern of living that you want? Or are you attractive small firm, which you're actually looking at substantial profits going to the owner? Or would you consider yourself a high potential venture or a gazelle, which that's a firm that has great aspects for growth? All right, and I'll give you all a few minutes to respond. I still see a few more votes coming in. Okay, let's go ahead and end the poll and look at our results. So it looks like in this case, a majority of you at 58% said you're a lifestyle business. And again, we had another tie. This time was between choice A and choice C, tie between a micro business or an attractive small firm. And it looks like we have at least one gazelle on the line with us. All right, so that is good to know. All right. Okay. All right, and then we have one more that I just want to, again, just get a little bit more information on who's here. All right. And this was the one that was somewhat referenced in the chat, but I would still just like to get you all's response again to this one. And so this one is, what is the stage of your business? Or I'm sorry, what is the stage of your business plan? You do not know where to start? Or would you say you started working on it, but you're dreading the process? Or you have a solid draft, but not quite ready to share it? Or do you have a complete comprehensive business plan that's ready to present to investors? Give you all a few minutes to respond. Okay, looks like a majority of you have responded, so let's take a look at the results. Okay. All right, so it looks like most of you have a solid draft that you're just not quite ready to share. Coming in at 50%, followed closely by choice B, which says you started working on it, but you're dreading the process, which I can understand. And then choice D, there is one that has a complete comprehensive plan, all right? So at least no one's in the don't know where to start phase yet, so that's a good place to be, all right? Okay. All right, thank you all so much for participating with those poll questions. So let's just dive into what our agenda will be for today. All right. So for our agenda, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what is the one-page business plan. Then we're going to look into why should we use a one-page business plan? Then we're going to dive into what to include on the one-page business plan, and we'll go into each of those items in detail, all right? And then I'll kind of give you a little guidelines on how to actually write the one-page business plan, and then we'll also look at a few examples followed by any questions, okay? So let's go ahead and get started, all right? So what is a one-page business plan, all right? Some have referenced this as maybe like the short plan, which is basically an abbreviated version of your business plan. It's also a very quick and clear overview of the business's core aspects. One thing to also note here that it is not a replacement for a full business plan. So again, with you all being at a place where you've at least started on your business plan, I think you're in a good place to actually start incorporating the one-page business plan. All right. Now, with the one-page business plan, again, you can use it from two different perspectives. One could be you could use it from as a top-down approach, which basically means it summarizes your comprehensive business plan. All right. Or you can use it as a bottom-up approach. So that way you actually develop your one-page business plan first, and then and once you develop that, then you can actually use that as a guide to actually help you to develop your comprehensive plan. Right. And again, when you're using the one-page business plan, which we're going to go into this next, why do you want to use it? All right. So one of the main reasons is you want to attract investors to your business. All right. The one-page business plan can be a little bit less complex and a lot faster to actually create. So that way, if you're ready to start your business and ready to get your information out to your investors, you can look at it as a way to actually get to that position faster. All right. Also, it gives the opportunity for timely feedback, meaning that those that can review your one-page business plan, they can actually give you information a lot quicker as opposed to reading your full business plan. All right. Also, it's a little bit easier to update. All right. And as Ms. Cooper referenced before, one thing you want to keep in mind when we're talking about your business plan, it should be considered what is known as a living document. So you should actually be, anytime any situations change or there's something you want to adjust in your business, you need to adjust your business plan to reflect those changes. And by using this one-page business plan, it allows you to do that a little easier. All right. The next thing is easily validate your business idea. So by using the one-page business plan, giving people a quick snapshot of what it is that you're doing, you can gauge how they respond to it, gauge whether or not you think the business plan idea that you have is actually valid. Right. All right. And then this one, which I've heard this before, especially when, writing memos for executives in my previous role. No one wants to read the long business plan. All right. So having this one-page document will actually allow you to have someone to read your plan, understand what it is, and know what it is that your business is doing. All right. And then also, again, this is useful at any stage of business. So it looks like several of you are at different stages in your business plan life or in your business life. So therefore, using this plan can be used by all of you. Okay. So what are some of the steps to actually start creating this one-step business plan? All right. As with most writing, which I'm sure you all may remember from either high school, college days, you always want to start with an outline. So you outline what you think you want to include in your business plan, right? The next step, which is this is more the time consuming, this is where you have to put a lot of the work in. You want to research and gather information. So you're going to be looking for things like looking at your market, looking at the industry you're in, looking at costs, trying to develop what's going to be the cost of my business, trying to develop, looking at ways how to develop your revenue streams, those types of things. So all of that needs to be done in this research and gather information stage, right? The next thing is you want to use maybe a business plan template. And again, I'll show you some examples of those. There are plenty of them online where you can actually download a template, enter your information in. But again, of course, if you're a creative person, you can actually just create your own from scratch as well, right? Once you've chosen the template, again, you start writing the content based on the research that you did in step 2, right? Then the second thing is you want to design some visual components to go on your business plan. When we get to the end, I'm going to show you a couple examples. The first few will show you the ones that kind of incorporate some of the visual components, and the last one I'll show you does not. And so you'll be able to kind of judge and see why you want to make sure that you incorporate some of those visual components. All right. And then the last thing, once that's done, you want to start sharing your business plan. So now we know what it is, we know why we want to use it, we know how we need to proceed with actually doing it, but what does it need to incorporate? All right. So I'm going to go through actually 12 items that you can include on your one-page business plan. All right. So, and I will say this, there are 12 items. We're trying to keep this to one page. You do not have to include all of these on your business plan. You can pick and choose what you think is most important to your business. All right. So number one, we're going to look at the executive summary, which is basically an overview of your business story. 2 is the business opportunity. What's the problem you're trying to solve? What problem have you noticed that led you to actually want to start your business, right? And then you want to look at your value proposition, right? The value proposition, and we'll look at an example of this as well, is basically what's the value of your product? So in the opportunity, we stated what the problem was. So with our value proposition, we actually want to get into how does my business help to solve that problem, right? And then you want to look at your team members. Who are the key individuals that are running this business? And then the next thing you want to do is look at industry analysis. All right, so you want to identify your competitors, your strengths, weaknesses, market share. I would recommend doing a SWOT analysis, and we'll have a slide that kind of walks through how you can do that. All right. And then the sixth thing on our list is the target market. All right. Who are your customers, right? Who are you targeting? Who do you want to serve as a part of your business? Now, keep in mind, when you're establishing your target market, you may have a group that you're actually gearing your business to, but that doesn't mean that eliminates other people from your business. Now, along with that target market, you want to develop a marketing plan. So once you've identified the people you want to go after, the next thing you want to do is develop a plan to actually get them in your door, all right, or get them to purchase your goods or services. All right. Then the revenue model, this just looks at how does your business actually plan to generate its income? How are you going to generate your revenue? Okay. And then you want to look at an implementation timeline. How are you going to roll out your business? Will it be rolled out in phases? Will it be rolled out all at once? What are kind of a guideline as to when you think those things will happen? Right. And then my favorite part, which most people say this is not their favorite part, but for me it is your financial summary. All right. So this is where you're gonna look at some of your key indicators, your profit, loss, cash flow, you're gonna get your balance sheet, sales projection, all the fun stuff that goes into the business, okay? All right. And then you wanna look at your funding required. And again, depending on what you're using this one-page business plan for, you may want to specify what is it, how much do you actually need? What are you going to use this information or use this money for? Right. And then the last piece, you always want to include your contact information, because once someone takes a look at your business plan, you want to make sure that they're able to get in contact with you. Okay. All right, so got another poll question for you. And I will say this, I do have a couple of more of these. You are not being graded. I'm not in my professor role today, so I'm not going to give you a grade on this today, but I just would like to get you all's responses. All right, so let me go ahead and launch the poll question again. All right, so with this poll, what we're looking at is which of the following would be your primary motivation for pursuing an entrepreneurial venture, right? Is it personal fulfillment? Is it personal satisfaction, independence, or just a financial reward, right? Now, personal fulfillment, personal satisfaction, those sound somewhat similar, but when we're talking about personal fulfillment, what we're looking at is you're pursuing it because you want to help improve the lives of others, right? When we're talking about personal satisfaction, you're pretty much looking at rewarding yourself by working with your business or your product. So it's a business that you're passionate about. And then, of course, independence, which I think everyone wants that financial independence. And then get just financial rewards just in general that you can share with your employees or with others. Okay. So choice A, B, C, or D. A couple of more minutes to respond. All right, looks like the majority of you have responded. So let's take a look at where we ended up. All right. Looks like half of you are looking at choice C, looking for that financial independence. You wanted to make your own decision, take your own risk, and reap your own rewards. All right. Choice A came in second, which is that personal fulfillment, wanting to be able to improve the lives of others. And then in third place was the financial reward, right? There were no responses to the personal satisfaction, right? So it looks like all of you are looking at either being independent or actually trying to help improve the lives of others, of those around you. All right, sounds good. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. So with the executive summary, again, what you're looking at here is you want to highlight maybe 2 or 3 very significant points. This is where you want to actually hook the reader's attention, give them a brief overview of what the essence of your business is, all right? And again, it should be pretty concise, 2 to 3 sentences at the most. What I've included here is just an excerpt from an example of a one-page business plan. And I'll read this to you. I know it's a little blurry the way that it was copied in, so I'll read it to you just so you get an idea of what executive summary should sound like. All right. So it says Dawson's Marketing Solutions is a trusted marketing consultancy service based in Chicago, offering tailored strategies and creative solutions to help businesses thrive in the competitive landscape. With a team of experienced marketing experts, we aim to elevate brand visibility, customer engagement, and overall business growth for our diverse clientele, right? So just in those few sentences, you know who they are, you know where they are, you know what their goal is, and you know who makes up their team, right? And you know also what their purpose is, what they're striving to do in their business, right? So again, that's just a quick summary of what your business is. Okay. Then the next one is business opportunity, all right? And again, this is where you want to state what is the problem that you're planning to solve, right? Okay, and describes how does your business actually solve the problem, all right? So with this one, they had a shift. They were talking about a shift from remote work in 2020. Companies trying to manage their time, and this is what they were saying is the actual problem that they're trying to solve with their business, right? Okay. And then we get into value proposition, all right? And again, this is how statement of how the company creates value, right? It kind of serves as the firm's a basis for this firm's competitive advantage, all right? Now, a lot of times people often get the value proposition confused with a slogan or a tagline or the mission statement. So what I did here, instead of just pulling a sample from a actual business plan, I just wanted to kind of look at a company that kind of incorporated all four of those, so you can just kind of see what distinguishes a value proposition from these other items. So the company that I pulled in was Nike. And so their value proposition says they are customizable performance or lifestyle sneakers with unique colorways and materials. So they're describing what their benefit of their company is. It provides these customizable lifestyle sneakers for their customers, right? Compare that to their mission statement, which is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. Their slogan, twice the guts, double the glory. And then of course the tagline that we are probably all familiar with, just do it, right? So you can see here with the value proposition, it is actually looking at how does your company create value, right? And again, it kind of sets the stage for how do you set yourself apart from others or from your competitors, right? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the next one is your team members, all right? So here, what you want to kind of include is who are their team members, what are their roles, what are their qualifications, some of their core competencies. You see listed here, we have a CEO, a COO, a CMO, and a CFO. And again, depending on where you are in your business, you may not need all of these roles, all right? So it may be a situation where, especially with, you know, if you're a small startup, it may be a situation where there may be fewer employees or fewer owners, but they actually have to take on multiple roles. But you want to be able to describe that in your one-page business plan so that your investors or those who are looking to go into business with you understand who is actually going to be running the business and know that you're qualified to actually run that business. So you want to kind of sell yourself in this area. Then the next thing we have here is the industry analysis. So this is where a lot of your research will come into play. So you want to briefly describe who your investors are. You want to again emphasize what is your competitive advantage, what sets you aside from your competitors. Is it your pricing strategy? Is it technology? Or is there some other factor that actually sets you apart from your competitors, right? And also when you're looking at this area and doing the research in this area, this is where you actually want to perform a SWOT analysis, all right? And we'll get in the next slide, we'll get into what a SWOT analysis looks like, all right? Okay. Another thing you do want to do when you're looking at the industry analysis, you want to look for where's your niche? Where is it that you can actually add value that no one else may be adding value in that way, or a way that you can actually improve upon the way others are doing it. So you want to find that niche market that you can actually service. So here is the SWOT analysis, right? And so I've broken this down into the 4 quadrants that's related to the SWOT analysis. And some of you may be very familiar with this. You may have already done this, but I just want to kind of go through it again and just kind of give you some things to think about as you're preparing the SWOT analysis. All right. So when we're talking about strengths, you can see that that lines up the things that are positive and things that are internal to your business. So some of the questions you want to ask yourself is, what do you do well? Or better yet, what do you do best? What are the things that your business does better than anyone else, right? You may want to think about things that are unique to your organization. What are things that you're doing that you have not seen others do, right? And then again, thinking about your target audience. What do they like about your organizations? What type of feedback have you gotten from them? And which that leads into another way you can actually gather information for your business plan. Conduct surveys. Reach out to your target audience and have surveys and find out what it is they like or what it is that they're looking for. All right. And then next is, which categories of features beat out our competitors, right? So what are the things that we're doing that are actually, we're doing, again, better than our competitors, right? And just to give you an example here of how a lot of this information can be used at virtually any stage of business. When I worked with Springs Industries, one of the things that I had to do on a monthly basis was actually generate financial ratios for our company and then actually for our competitors as well. So we could see how are we performing from a ratio perspective in comparison to our competitors. So again, all size businesses at all of stages can actually utilize some of this information. So then when we get into the weakness side, what we're looking at here, again, looking internally, looking inside our organization and looking at the things that are negative. Even though, you know, we always try to, or most people try to steer away from things that are negative, but we need to take a look at those things so we can look at ways to actually make improvements, all right? So when we're looking at the weaknesses, what we want to do is look at which initiatives are underperforming and why, all right? Why are we underperforming? You want to understand that in order to actually begin to make changes. And there is this concept, it's not just ask why one time. Once you get an answer to your why, you want to ask why at least 4 more times to really get to the root cause of what the problem is. Right. And then once you understand the why, then you want to know what can be improved. How can we improve it? So those are the things you want to look at, right? And then are there resources that we need to improve our performance, right? So again, looking at how do we rank against our competitors in these areas. So again, looking at those weaknesses from an internal perspective. Then we look at our opportunities. We're looking at what resources can we utilize to improve those weaknesses we just discussed, all right? Do we have market gaps with our services? Is there a market that we have not targeted and we should be targeting that will give us an opportunity to actually expand our business? And then also start looking at what are your goals for the coming year? Thinking about where you want to be in the next year, or the next 3 years, or the next 5 years. That's going to actually give you the opportunity to kind of examine what opportunities can I take advantage of now to get me to that place down the road, right? And then also, again, looking at your competitors again, what are they offering that you're not offering that you may want to incorporate? And then finally, looking at our threat, right? And here again, we're going to be looking at external So we're looking at things that actually could have an impact on our industry, right? Are there changes in the industry that are coming, right? Are there new market trends that are coming? Again, what are our competitors doing? Are they outperforming us, right? And then you can also incorporate things just depending on the location of your business. Things like natural disasters, could those be a potential threat to your business? Okay. Yeah. So I've got another polling question here just to make sure you all are awake. Again, you are not being graded on this. So let me launch the poll. So with this one, it says, as a part of assessing a small business idea, entrepreneurs can use SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for what? A, sweet spot, weak point, other factors, and total outlook. B, skills, worries, openings, and troubles. C, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Or D, strengths, worries, opportunities, and troubles. Looks like a majority of you have responded. And it's good to know everyone, if I were grading this, everyone would get an A. Okay. Okay. So the next area that you want to consider for your business plan, again, is your target market. All right. Here you can actually include specific information about your target audience or your target market. Include things like their geographical location. What is the market size? What are demographics related to them, such as their age, income, or lifestyle? Think about what are their spending habits, right? So you can see here, again, this is a clip from an actual one-page business plan. And you can see they incorporated graphics here to kind of explain this. So they looked at the company size that they're targeting. They looked at the niche that they're looking at. Here they're looking at primarily technology type businesses to target. And then you can also see what locations they're targeting. So again, using those visual aids to actually show on your one-page business plan, who is it that you're trying to target? And then with your marketing plan. So here we're looking at marketing channels and promotional strategies. So strategies such as your digital advertising or using website or Google, your email marketing, social media. You can use traditional advertising, TV, radio, print, meaning magazines, flyers, newspaper ads. And of course, our good old standbys, our word of mouth. All right. But here's just an example of how this company incorporated that into their one-page business plan. So you see here, they highlighted just 3 areas that they plan to target as far as their market, right? So they're going to be using blogs and white papers, they've got promotional deals, and then they're using online advertising, right? So again, just explaining how do you plan to get your information or your business idea out to your potential customers. All right, now we're starting to get into the fun stuff. All right. So here, looking at your revenue model, right? So what's your nature and type of your sources of revenue? Where is your revenue coming from? All right. There are basically 4 common types of revenue models. One being you can use just volume or unit-based revenue model, which means that you're just selling a product at a fixed price, okay? Or you're providing a service at a fixed price. Or you could use a subscription or membership type model where people have to subscribe to your service or they have a membership to partake in your service. or it could even be a subscription to actually purchase goods from you. Right. And then the next one is the advertising-based model, which is basically where you're actually receiving your revenue from actually allowing other people to advertise with you. And then the licensing revenue model, right, is the final one. So then your customers just may pay a one-time fee for use or sale of your product, right? Now, another way you can look at this, and you can see this just from the sample that I have here, is that just instead of going into what the revenue model's on, you can just kind of take this as an opportunity to kind of explain what your products are and how your what your pricing is. But again, you'll have to judge this based on what type of business you have. If it's not a business where you want to advertise a flat rate such as they have here, you may want to focus on just more of a kind of general guidelines of how you plan to generate your revenue and indicate that your prices will be set based on, customizable based on what your customers' needs are. And then we have the implementation timeline. And basically this is just a roadmap. And again, you can see how here we're trying to use those visual aids to help us to explain what's going on with our business. So with this company, they actually developed milestones, and they indicated when they wanted to actually reach those milestones, just using kind of in a graph form. So again, you want to be able to explain this to those you're presenting your business plan to, so they can kind of understand, have some expectations of where the business will be. And then the financial summary, right? So what we're doing here is, again, we're looking at that financial data, right? And so again, using graphs can actually help convey this a little bit easier. So here they actually just show what their projected income is over 3 years, what their projected expenses are over 3 years, and then their projected profit over 3 years, right? And now most people, this is where a lot of people will get a little concerned about, okay, how do I come up with these numbers, right? So when you're talking about developing projections, again, that's going to involve, research. You will have to make some assumptions, but by doing the extensive research, you can develop a reasonable expectation of what you think these projections will be. And then we have our funding requirement. How much are you seeking? How will the funds be used, right? So you can see here, this was just a quick verbiage of this company needs $10,000 just to get the project started and then to keep it going for at least 6 months. And then finally, your contact information. Again, you want to make sure that your investors, partners, customers, they can actually reach out to you. So with this company, they actually incorporated their mission statement and then included their contact information. Okay? And in this day and age too, I mean, if you use the QR code, you could have that on your one-page business plan to actually just have someone that can scan it with their phone and be able to get to your information or contact you. And here, these are just a few of the sample templates that I have here. So this was just a plan, and you can see here, they incorporated 8 of those topics that we discussed. So they talked about their business opportunity. They described the business. They looked at the team, their industry analysis, the implementation timeline, their marketing plan, financial summary, and their funding requirements. So this is one version, and you can see that they had a picture in the background just to kind of add some interest, and they used little icons as well. Right. Here's another example, right? So again, they're using graphs, they're using charts, they've got pictures incorporated. So, and again, they have selected to use only 5 of those topics that we discussed. And then this one brought in quite a bit of color. I'm a little partial to the red, so that's why I chose this one. I will admit that. But again, they use some graphs, they use, the colors, they use some pictures, all those types of things, again, just to draw interest to their business plan. All right. And then this last one that I'm going to show you is looking at just one very basic, but it gets the point across. But you can see here, this is one, it doesn't quite grab your attention, right? So that's why I was stated earlier is you want to make sure that you incorporate some of those visuals, just because it's going to, I think, draw your readers in more. And then these are just some of the references that I use. And I thank you all for taking the time out your day to listen to my presentation. And at this point, I'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Professor Truesdale, for the presentation. If you would like to come off of your mic to ask any questions for Professor Truesdale, that would be great. So in the meantime, as we wait for you to come off your mic, I'm going to go ahead and put into the chat a link to sign up to be a client of the WBC. It takes about 5 minutes or less to do so. Our administrative coordinator will follow up with you, and a business advisor will be assigned. I will say that in working with some of the lending partners that we have at the Women's Business Center, depending on the type of loan that is being requested, one-page business plan, the business model canvas is feasible. They do accept those forms of business planning tools to support a person's application for lending assistance. So if it is that you're looking for capital or funding to support your business, not only does it help with strategic planning, also in regulating the progress or outcome successes of various aspects of your business, to include staffing, programming, operational, whatever the case may be. It is also a tool that supports applications for micro lending at some of the lending partners that we have at the WBC. I myself am an entrepreneur. I have my own business plan. I also have a one-page business plan that I use to complement the more extensive plan. Do we have any questions?
I actually have a question for those that are in attendance. Which Ms. Cooper has shared that she does have a one-page business plan already. Does anyone else on the call already have a one-page business plan?
Professor Truesdale, I'd like to share one other key use, for the one-page business plan that I have. If you don't have a website or you're looking to update your website, that one-page business plan can be used to support language on your website. Because when you think about your mission, your vision, the about us, what it is that you plan, certain aspects of that can be used to update your website and other social media platforms that you may use for your business. So how many of you all will be taking the information that you learned today to begin working on your one-page business plan? Okay. All right, so we do have a question about when trying to start a business, how do you find out about loan and grants? Okay, so two different ways of going about capital there. I'm sorry, Jamie, you had a question? Okay, I thought you had a question, but there was a question about how to when trying to start a business, how do you find out about loan and grants? So there are various resources that you can use. The library is one, Google search is another. There are other platforms such as I Fund Women. If you join their listserv, they send out grants periodically, I would say monthly. Those are some. The WBC, as far as our listserv or clients, they receive monthly grants that are available. Now, I will say this, and also check with your county government, your local government as well. I will say this, grants are very competitive. That's not to say that I would not advise anyone on not pursuing grants. As an entrepreneur, I have benefited from grants, and I've secured over 100,000 in dollars for grants to support my small business. They're very competitive. What they look for, and I'm sorry to segue because I know we're talking about a one-page business plan and we only have 4 minutes left. What I would recommend that you do is look at the company, usually they're a private business, see what funding they have available. If you do come across an opportunity, look at what they funded in the past, see how you compare against those businesses that have received funding and what can you offer given their priority area. So that's one. I will say again that those things are very competitive. You have tens of thousands of people across the United States, sometimes the world, who are competing against them. I say that to say, do apply, but also look at other means for supporting your businesses. As far as lending, we have partners, lending partners, community development financial institutions. They provide funding at a lower interest rate as opposed to the larger banks. The larger banks fund those community development financial institutions because those entities tend to take on projects or support businesses within certain communities. That's hence their name, to help infrastructure growth and development within certain communities. So that would be something that I would look at. The South Carolina Community Loan Fund is one of them. I would also look at accelerator programs. I was going back and forth for grant funding opportunities. At the end of that multi-week program, sometimes they have you submit your pitch and you have people and your business plan, which is important, what Professor Truesdale spoke about today. You have a group of people who review them, see how that your business fits within their business model or their priority areas, and then they award first, second, and third place. Benedict College Women's Business Center, periodically we also have pitch competitions and we award seed funding. So hopefully that answers your question. We have room for about 1 or 2 more questions and then we're going to sign off. This video will be uploaded to the Benedict College Women's Business Center YouTube channel by the end of the day, but definitely by first thing in the morning, you'll have it. Any other questions? You can feel free to come off your mic or enter question into the chat. You can use the grant library and the Chamber of Commerce for grants. Great, thank you, Shandon. Awesome. All right, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Professor Truesdale, for a great presentation. These are various strategies, very bite-sized and doable strategies that people can leave today's webinar with and go out on their own and implement within their respective businesses. Again, thank you for the wealth of knowledge and the content that you presented to us. Thank you, every one of you who have participated in this webinar and have engaged with your questions and have sat attentively and taken copious notes. So thank you so much. Again, this will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, and I hope you all continue to enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully you will contact Benedict College Women's Business Center to see how we can help you with your business. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. I do see there's a gentleman online. We do have male clients as well. So